Ready for an adventure that welcomes everyone? Dive into Cache Odyssey. Cache Odyssey is 6 fully accessible geo tours where every geocache is designed for everyone, regardless of their abilities. Each hidden cache tells a unique story, bringing people together on a journey of discovery. So, whether you're a seasoned geocacher or a new adventurer, get ready to experience the thrill like never before.
If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Right in the Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's logwerk.com.
Calling all geocachers. At artedcrafted.com, we create unique apparel designed by geocachers for geocachers. From custom t-shirts to personalized mugs, our gear lets you express your passion. Stand out at your next event with artedcrafted.com. artedcrafted.com. Gear up for your next geocaching adventure.
Big thanks to our new patrons, Hawaiian Mai Lee and Buzz82.
Ooh.
Thank you to all our patrons.
Absolutely.
For keeping the show on the air. We appreciate you so much. So I'm joined tonight by my usual co-host, Jesse,
Yep.
the Memphis Mafia.
Part of it anyway.
Who's done this show for many years.
That's true.
Didn't realize. Did you ever think you were going to do the show this long?
No, not even a little bit. I thought this was like a summertime thing, or we do it for a little while. And I'd always heard about Pod Fade, and I'd heard several of them do it. And I just thought, oh, this sounds like fun. Let's see what this thing is about. Because I listened to podcasts, right? You know, but like back then, I listened to some podcasts, but not tons. I listened to podcasts, and there wasn't a lot going on back then. There have been some before that, but obviously we weren't the first one or whatever. But never did I think, that it was going to be like approaching a decade at some point.
Yeah. And I understand.
Of course, that's how like geocaching starts too. You're like, oh, this sounds fun. Let's do this weekend.
Yeah, of course.
You're like, oh, it's been 15 years.
And then you're hooked.
Yeah.
No John tonight. We buried him in snow and he hasn't been able to get himself out yet. So
that's right.
You know, good luck, John. Hope you can, we gave him a spoon. So, I mean,
he'll get
theory,
he'll get out of it.
Should be able, I think we left him too. If I recall, I think we left him an air hole, but that was it. But he's buried, so he won't be here tonight. So just Jesse and I, and all of you along with us that are listening, watching in the chat room. There's Thunderstruck with us tonight. Jim has a really cool cache in Cache Odyssey, Nebraska. We'll talk more about Cache Odyssey in a moment, as well as Tony. I heard he had some people come visit him recently. I think Captain Math was up his way, so that was kind of cool that he got to go that way. We got the Hodag with us. He's with us tonight in the chat room. Lots of people in the chat room. It's really great. Struck 2's snowy New Hampshire. And as Tom said, Tom's comment was, keep all that ice and snow up in the north where it belongs.
That is correct.
Because
you don't need it down here.
It is cold. I don't know what it is in Tampa Bay, but it is cold. If
You
it's
know,
cold here, then it's really cold because I'm in Texas, so you can all have that. And like Tom
we're
said,
down to 57 right now, so it's pretty cold.
dang, 57 in Florida. I thought you're supposed to be
That's
sunny.
basically a blizzard.
So Tom says howdy from Frozen Selma. That's very, very true. So Jim made a comment. We'll get to that. Yep. Thank you for mentioning that. All right. Thank you to everybody who's along for the ride tonight. So let's get cranked up. Let's start with this. So quick note on Geo Woodstock. We are now up to, drum roll please. No, you don't need a drum roll. 28. Maybe it might be more than that now. Let me look. 28, 29. It just changed since the time I just updated it a few minutes ago.
Less than 1 mega away from being a giga.
Yeah, less. Yeah, or yeah, they're 100
You gotta
away.
have 300 for a mega.
Yeah, less than right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And for people that wonder, don't ask us. It's geocaching math, but it's 300 for a mega, 3,000 for a giga. Will attends.
Yep.
So,
well, that's just to be considered for those
yes.
statuses. That's not an automatic, but that's a whole different conversation for another night.
Yeah, exactly. But
we've talked about that before, though. So,
yeah, looking
I
forward.
Think they'll make it. I think they're going to make it.
I think they might make it.
It's January. They've got months ahead.
Yeah, but there's a point where I forget.
They've still got a couple months before they have to cut it off.
45 days out. I don't know. Somebody in the chat room can give us all, but you get the idea.
But here's the deal, too, though. We've already covered it. We don't want to get off on topic, but Tom says it's perfect. Excited about Geo Woodstock, but care less if it becomes a mega.
No,
it's
I agree.
It's going to be an awesome mega, and I say that from somebody who can't go.
No, I know.
It would have to be a miracle that I get to go this time because I have a family obligation that I can't change myself.
Right.
So I would love to go despite Giga or not Giga because it sounds awesome. It sounds like it's a lot of fun stuff. Besides the fact there's Cache Odyssey. We all know that. There's a Cache Odyssey there too. So obviously, I want to go grab that. But it's going to be a fun mega for all the stuff they got going on and just the stuff in the area. It's going to be a blast. I am jealous that I don't get to go.
Yeah.
I'm jealous for everybody that gets to go. So
no, I agree. Tom is right too. It's not.
It's cool if you get it, but if you don't, you don't. Nobody, it's just mega.
Yeah. And like you said, it looks like it's going to be great. And so
they've got a lot of stuff going on. Well, we just covered it recently, but they've got a lot of stuff going on.
We just covered all that.
Mega or Giga is still very cool.
Yeah, but even down to megas, I'm excited for you. You're good to get to go to a mega. That's just been a pick. It's been
what you're talking about.
You're not going? No,
I'm not going to a mega. What mega are you talking about?
Well, maybe not a mega. Maybe it's an event. I don't know what it is.
It's a block party, not a mega.
That's right.
Block party. Yeah, it's not a mega. I know.
Is that your first block party?
Do what?
Is that your first block party?
It'll be my first block party. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's exciting for me. A new icon. I don't get the Giga icon, but I can get the block party icon. So
that's right. Get that one checked off.
And they've got some cool events. We're already booked. We got our hotels booked and everything else. I think it's next weekend.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And not only that, there's like a ton of caches they've got set up, fun events coming up, and a bunch of lab caches, which, just to make the numbers people cry, I'm going to sit in one spot and grab a bunch of lab caches. So I hope there's people out there crying about that now. But that's a show we'll talk about soon. We're not going to do that tonight, though. So
no, but that's
for another show.
It's our geocaching. Yes, right. That's for another show. It's our geocaching junk food. So hey, you let us have our adventure labs because we're having way too much fun with those. Burnt Turtles is right. The mega is sort of a rare one this year. So if you're on a mega streak and you weren't like like oh well, I go to a mega every year. This year might be a little tougher because
Well, not only
going to
go to a mega, there's some people that go to multiple megas a year.
yes,
Yeah, you'll be able to find a mega this year. Going
Cash
to
Fest.
as many as normal.
Yeah, Cash Fest is still a mega. I'm
Yep,
sure there's
yep,
some others. But he's right. You have to take a look for that because
yep.
I'm going to Bamarama.
Is that a mega or
Um,
a block party?
it's a block party.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. And so, in a sense, I'm not going
Oh,
to any megas this year.
Colorado.
Oh, Burnt Turtle says Colorado. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
There you go.
yep.
Oh, in Kansas. Yeah, there you go. Mingo
Yeah, there
Madness
you go.
is going to stay probably. Yeah. Cash Fest Hawaii. Yeah.
No.
I mentioned that one. Yep, you're right, Lori. Thank you for that. Yeah.
People
So
will
there's a
get
few.
to, yeah, people are going to stack up those block parties, though, which is
Oh,
good.
Moga. Maybe it is Moga. You're right. You're
Moga,
right, Jim.
mega.
Yeah. Mingo Madness might be a block party.
It
But
may be. I guess we'll have to
Texas,
see. I think
yeah,
we know a
Texas
guy.
has changed. So anyway,
Yeah.
and then I want to give you a quick update on Cache Odyssey. We are now up to 48 published.
So getting so close.
Yep, Kentucky and Missouri are coming soon. They're both waiting out some local red tape they're trying to get through. One was construction caused some issues that they had to wait upon. So both of them are coming soon. They
Yeah.
should be out. I think one should be Tuesday. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's going live. So we'll have 49, but so we're getting close. We'll get all 50 here shortly. We're over 400 favorite points earned. So obviously these caches are high quality.
And that's just going to explode over time, right? I mean, people really haven't gotten into it yet and started collecting as much yet. It's going to go up exponentially.
Yeah, and I'm very excited for Owen's owner, and he says it'll be on Tuesday. So excited for Missouri to come out. I was excited to see Hawaii. I don't know if y'all seen it, but it's in a really cool spot. It's on the Big Island, and he's got it at a really neat spot on the island. So looking forward to that. And looking forward to Kentucky. Kentucky will be out also. So we'll have all 50. And, like you said, the dashboard has been changed. And now you can see it. It's worth going to take a look at. And as B Genius said, it's addicting to look at because then you start going, oh, I need to go plan. I gotta go get that. Go get that cash. I gotta get that cash because
I know that I have it pinned to my phone, to like the home screen on my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to discuss it tonight, but I do have a plan for attacking some of them.
Nice.
I will be very public about it when I do it, but I don't have the plan finalized yet, so I don't want to jinx it. But
yeah,
I'm definitely going to attack some in a major way. So it's very addicting. And when he broke it out into the regions, which you wouldn't have done first because it'd have been silly to do that at first, right? Like, there's not enough data for that.
No,
and
correct.
As time goes on, there may be additional breakouts that are necessary, but they're not yet. You got to get more data in before it looks silly. But we've got enough people now. They've broken it out, and we cannot thank them both enough for the work they're doing on this. And all the hiders, obviously, too. I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
The people that have everybody, and I know I don't want to get us off topic, but I'm so happy that that's in place, and we're like 96% of the way to having all of our caches, active and live right now. And it's awesome. It's so awesome. So,
and we're starting to see, Joe mentioned about Emily's Lighthouse cache. That does look awesome. There are really a lot of cool ones. They are, and I know of someone, and this is the funny part. We're going to have on next week. We're gonna have Nancy on, Yukiana. She is the hider for Maine, and she has completed the Northeast. She was the very first person to finish the Geo Tour. Any of the Geo Tours.
Geo Tour. Yeah.
Yeah, any of the Geo Tours.
Yeah.
I do know somebody who's almost completed the Southwest Geo Tour,
Oh,
and they've got plans. They're starting to put their plans in place to go get Hawaii. So then they will become the second person. And of all the ones to complete, the Northwest and Southwest are kind of tricky just because you can't
for
drive
sure
to
the
them all. You can
hardest.
drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's less of them, but you got to get on a plane to get
Yeah.
either one of them. So,
And as Sharon points out, that somebody stole
yes.
Virginia's. So here's the
Yeah.
thing: when you have 50 out there,
It's
and
in, yeah, they're
they're
in
in
process.
the, not only
Fixing.
are they, there's 50
Yeah.
of them out there, part of a geo tour, so they're getting advertised a lot, and it's getting a lot of attention because one, it's doing a really good thing, and two, people are excited about it, and HQ is helping promote it. There's things that are going to happen. People are going to damage them. People are going to steal them. It's part of it. And we're just going to keep working with the whole team, supporting the whole team to get all the caches back out there.
Yeah.
There's no way that out of 50 caches that are high profile, something's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. We know it's
Yep.
going to happen, or construction will come up, or something will happen. But we're not going to let any of that deter us. Nobody on the team is going to let that stand in the way of our mission.
Oh, no.
We're going to keep them out there, right? It's going to happen. It's going to keep happening. We're going to be good to go. And, there's going to be like we talked about Mingo Madness earlier, the plaque that this team and everybody else put together to put that plaque up, and then somebody stole it. And there's no reason. Now, and then we raised a big fundraiser to get that put back together and rebuilt and everything else, and it's going back up, coming up. There was no reason for that to happen, but the more attention you draw to a geocache, the more chance that somebody's going to be me, right?
Yeah.
But we can't let that deter us. We're just going to keep going. We know we're doing the right thing with this geo tour, or geo tours. So we're going to just keep going forward. We're not going to let that stuff discourage us.
Yeah. Last item on Cache Odyssey is people are asking about Washington. Washington should be fixed, repaired, and once it's repaired, to HQ's requirement, then it will be back live. So that's fine.
There's always going to be little things that come up, and we'll fix them. Everybody's behind it. HQ's behind it. This tour, so it's not like this is going to go anywhere.
Yep. And we listed Yuma, Bamarama, and the 18th annual picnic in the park that Jesse's going to. We've listed those in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
You can always find the show notes a few minutes after the show's over on geocachetalk.com. So I would encourage everyone to go to the website, check out all the good stuff we've got out there. That
so
makes
much
us
stuff
happy.
going on this year. It's almost like it's an important year or something.
Yeah, almost. You would think it'd be kind of an important. Oh yeah, Gadget Talk.
Yeah, Gadget Talk Tuesday. I know everybody's been waiting for that to come back. So that's coming back. It's the 25th anniversary. We're bringing out all the stops, right?
We are.
I mean, go for everything this year. This is the big year. This is the biggest year of geocaching since any of us have been involved in the game. So
Geocache Talk Network is blowing and going. Check out the shop, geocachetalkshop.etsy. We're going to be adding things to it. We just got it up and running. There isn't really much out there. My game is out there, Cache Masters. We have a lot of beans to spill. Can I spill the beans for next year, Jesse? Can I tell them about where we're going next year?
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
No. Although that will be, I hate to keep saying this because we say this every year, but that'll probably be the largest scale thing we've ever done.
It is epic. I can't wait to share it. I can't wait.
We're not even close to being able to talk about that yet.
No, I know.
Yeah.
We have something major going on in February that
we're not going to talk about that tonight.
Oh, come on.
Oh, wait. That's major. That's not on the scale of the other thing, although it's kind of connected, but we're not going to talk about that. Don't give away the connection. Okay. No, look, let's move on. Move on.
No.
Jesse.
Just spilled the beans.
You didn't, but
Jesse did not spill anything. We're going to move on.
I had to hit the button.
No, we don't want to ruin anything, so we're going to move on past that. Let's talk about being the 25th anniversary and the new news that has come out.
Yeah, let's get into geocaching treasures. So we did a show with so Joe's like, Jesse, please. Yeah, no, Jesse's the one more than anybody is not going to do it. It'd be more me saying the wrong thing, so
I'm
I'm
not
not going to.
doing the surprise because the surprise makes it worth it. The wait.
Yeah. I just to let just to let you know, there is some really cool stuff in the works.
Always, of course.
And the one of them that we'll find out again in February has been in the works now for quite a while. And so
Yeah,
I'm really, like you said,
and it's not a huge project. It's something
No.
very cool.
it's just cool.
But
Yeah.
we're not going to, again, stop.
Yeah.
Stop going back to that. Let's move forward. Move forward. We're going to mess things up.
So we had Brian on. We had Brian on Tuesday, which was really cool. I went back. I watched part of it that night, and then I went back and watched the rest of it later.
Yeah.
You caught the Sunny and Sandy podcast.
Sunny and Sandy, HQ podcast. There's I have not caught up on all the other podcasts out right now because there are a few others that we haven't mentioned all the time on here.
But just some, you caught up on some of them. Guess my point.
So, we're talking about Treasures tonight.
Yes.
Not Treasure, the movie, which we haven't mentioned in a long time, but I still like that movie. We need another geocaching movie, but anyway, move on.
We do. That's for another show.
Yeah. If anybody wants to start another movie, that's great. I'd be happy to be an extra in the background. Treasures. Go. So they announced Treasures, which I know a lot of people now are going to say, "Oh, I guessed that." No, you didn't. But my guess was not correct. We had private guesses that we talked about what they're going to bring out. It was not correct. But ultimately, what it came out with is they're exploring the idea of a digital souvenir that they can control. And hey, Brian said a lot about dials, right? They can change them. They can make them harder, easier. And the idea is that you're going to get digital souvenirs based on certain criteria that they set. That's the short version, right?
It's going to be a feature set, which I thought that was interesting. It's very generic.
So, because he doesn't know where they're going to go yet, right? And I understand that. So, the way I understood it, if I was going to boil it down to terms that we currently know, we know that it's similar to like Night at the Museum or some of the other promotions we've done in the past, except for it's not temporary. Those things just go away. This is an actual souvenir that you add on. We don't know what that's going to look like on your geocaching.com account yet. It's going to start in the app, their app, and on your profile. So maybe it's a new page.
I think
a new tab on your profile.
I think it's going to be a tab.
We don't know yet. They clearly have space for that. They've got the network, the framework for it and everything. But it's going to be permanent things. It sounds like it's going to be pretty cool. And what I like the most about what he said when he kind of did the press circuit was that one of their biggest challenges, and he's talked about this on the show too, is when they put out a promotion, having it to where they can make it adjustable for the wide range of cachers, right? So like he said, not quoting exactly right, but like he said, if they put out a thing that just says 5 find caches, that's good for entry-level players. Experienced players are not even going to look twice at that because they'll do it by accident. So finding something that appeals to everybody. And it sounds like he's going to be able to make this, Brian's the mouth of it, but I mean HQ, right?
Right. HQ.
It sounds like they're going to be able to adjust this somehow to make it good. Oh, it was on Caching in the Northwest as well. I didn't catch it yet, so I'm behind on some of my podcasts.
Yeah.
But
I figured they would have covered it too.
Yeah, I wouldn't intentionally leave anybody out. So he's going to be able to make it adjustable to where, and I don't know how they're going to do it yet. And I don't think that he does either, to where it's appealing to both new inexperienced cachers and the mega cachers, right? Like he talked about being able to up the difficulty by saying like, okay, if you find this one, it's 100% chance you're going to find it. But the next cache, there's a 50% chance you're going to get a souvenir. The next cache, there's a 25% chance, and he can keep changing that to where it gets harder and harder to find the additional souvenirs. So
Yeah,
does that make sense? So like the
it
first
does.
one, even the beginners are going to get it. The second one, you would have to find, it's going to be harder to get it. The third one and so on. So your mega cachers may be able to stack those to get quite a few, but your beginner
Right.
cachers are only going to get a few of them. Well,
Right.
that's what we've been hoping for a long time, right? Like the promotions, most of the promotions that have happened in the last 8 years, even though I enjoy the work behind it, I've done by accident.
Me too.
Just by caching. And
Yeah.
I think they're trying to address that in a way that's equitable, so to speak, for all cachers of all types, right? Which has
Yes.
got to be super hard because, with everyone they do, and we talked about this before, somebody's either going to say it's too hard or somebody's going to say it's too easy. How do you get something for everybody? But I believe that the way they're doing it now has a lot of potential. Again, I would never want their job of having to please all the 3 million cachers out there, right? Because you're never going to do it. But before we even get in discussion of what if this, what if that, and everything else, I think I want to say that I'm not going to give my opinion on this treasures yet, not to the end of the show.
Yeah.
But
we'll get there. We'll get there.
My first thing I want to say is I'm just excited that something new is coming out.
I agree.
Now, I'm gonna give a caveat for that, and I'm not being negative. I'm just gonna give a caveat for it.
Okay.
I was super excited about the leaderboard.
Oh yeah.
So that did not work out yet. I had a lot of ideas for what that was going to be. We got to be part of testing that out. Yeah. That was one of the most exciting times I've had in caching. And I'll point to one specific thing that we talked about before, but it was just fun for me because it wasn't me. I saw it through somebody else.
Yes.
We had UC in our car, and we were at
the Mad Finn.
Yeah, the Mad Finn. And
Mad Finn.
We were driving down the road, and it was a total different game experience because, I'm into Jasmer and old cache and everything else, but I'm into all aspects of the game. And he was like, hey, stop. There's a 3-pointer or something like that, paraphrasing. Yeah. And it was exciting just to drive down the road knowing there's a whole system overlaid. And I really think the way it was described, I really think this new system could be like that.
Right.
Talked about on one of the shows that like micros that suck, you don't want to do those. But now they may satisfy a new challenge, which is a whole nother separate thing. We're talking about in a minute.
Yeah.
A whole other challenge. You're trying to get a set of these, requirements to get your new souvenir. It can make caches that normally are no fun to you, fun to you. That's awesome. However, if they get us all excited about this, and I don't want to say if we get all excited about this, and then for some reason it's functionally impossible to do, man, it'll be disappointing. Because I was hoping by this time we'd have leaderboards that you could like challenge your friends with, and like here's our local challenge, and we're gonna go and do. You know what? This challenge this month is to find, one cache of every type, or 10 multis, or a new county that you haven't done before, or something like that, and like a state challenge or like a regional challenge. And you could set up your group of people, like your Motley Caching crew. You guys can set up your own leaderboard and go, for us, this is a reasonable goal that we can do, and we can set that up, and then we get points off that. That hasn't worked out yet. I'm hoping they haven't given up on leaderboards because I really like the idea. It's just like a stagnant but dead feature that sits up your account, but nobody really does anything with it.
It's out there, yeah.
And the problem with that, at least for me, is over the last 15 years, I have friended a crap ton of people.
Right. That's a lot of people.
You're not. So, but now all those show up in your leaderboard, and like I've got Mondo and Alamogul and people that have like 200,000 caches. I can't compete with them. I don't want to compete.
Right. Exactly. There's no way.
I can't narrow down that friend group without unfriending people that I've friended over the years. So the leaderboard thing was disappointing for me because it didn't work. And I don't know why it didn't, right? We could probably ask him. There's a legitimate reason.
Yeah.
It worked out. However, if this doesn't go the way of that, I think it has huge potential.
Sure.
And I want to give that caveat, the downer stuff at the beginning, so we can get to the exciting part of it now.
No, I got you. Well, one thing I did want to point out when you mentioned that, because what comes to mind is one place where it does work, in which is Georgia. Georgia has their challenge that they do statewide.
Yeah.
They have their Georgia challenge, so it's sort of a leaderboard. So they've kind of taken the leaderboard idea and they've sort of perfected it, and they got theirs going. But from an HQ standpoint, I completely agree with you. The leaderboard was fun for us because we were the first to,
A lot of fun.
test it out.
Yes. Yeah. I
Um,
loved it.
so that was really cool. But I agree with you on that part. The I
Sorry.
just don't know. We're gonna get there. We all made some interesting notes. I just want to give my initial reaction. My initial reaction is I'm just, I guess, skeptical because I was kind of, well, and something I want to point out to people, because people ask, or people may not know, and I think this is good. This is good information for you to know about, which is we've all mentioned to HQ, hey, what if we change the DT? Why don't we make it a 10-point scale instead of a 5-point scale? Or what if we added history cache type? What if we added, and if you ever try to, anything that falls in this category of changing the DT or changing the cache type list or changing the cache sizes, because a lot of people are like, oh, we need to add a nano cache size. Anything of that nature is really, really difficult to do,
Yeah.
both
Well,
from a database standpoint. It takes a lot of database work, but also it messes up a lot of people's stats.
yes. I mean, challenges you've been working on and everything. And,
Oh, it
obviously,
would
challenge
just,
is something I bring up all the time, right? Because
yeah,
I love challenges.
yeah,
And also see, and I don't want to get sidetracked because there's so much to talk about this one, but
well,
let's come back to how challenges relate to these later. And I know we're going to, but I want to. So, but just doing, and not to hit a broken record, but Cache Odyssey, right? One little
yeah,
small aspect of that was breaking up the regions. We're only dealing with 50 people, not 3 million,
no,
50 people. And we knew no matter what we decided on that,
it was
some people were going to be unhappy,
yep,
right? They're like, that's dumb. Christy was one of them. My wife was one of them. She goes, she looked at it. She saw our final thing. She goes, that's stupid. I don't even like that. That's dumb. I'm like, we can't make everybody happy.
yeah,
And it was one of those glimpses into HQ's, what they have to deal with. There is
yep.
zero way they could ever do anything that would make 3 million people happy.
Oh no,
There's
absolutely
no
not.
way. So every little tiny thing they do affects a percentage of those people.
Yep.
So, if you add a new
Well,
cache type, okay, now that
sounds
changes
great.
busy day, that changes I mean, like there's so many things that because the game's been around for so long and there's so many people playing, and it's a
Yep.
statistic-based game, right?
Yes.
Remember the old thing that people used to say, I haven't heard in a long time, but it's all about the numbers or it's not about the numbers. It's a
Right.
whole game based on numbers. So whatever.
Sure.
But whatever those numbers mean to you. But so there's no way to change those things. So anything they do, people are not challenges, adventure labs. They add something new to the game and people complained about it.
Right.
People are
Right.
still complaining about adventure labs. Those aren't real caches. Don't do them. Like no matter what they give to
Yes.
us, somebody's going to complain. Most people are going to be happy, right? And I think with this promotion, let's say it stays in place. Most people are going to be happy with this. The ones that
Yeah.
aren't, don't do it, right? Like that's not part
Right.
of the game for you. That's fine. I don't
Yep.
scuba cache. I will not scuba cache. I don't want them
Yeah.
gone. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh
have
no.
fun with it. It's just another thing to do. And yeah, perfect.
Bell on the move. Yeah.
Gamifying the app to make it more fun for younger cachers. Yes,
Yeah,
because we're a
good idea.
high-tech scavenger hunt. That's always been the thing. And some people want to say that I'm doing mine with maps and a compass. Great, dude. Have fun with that. Some people are iPhone cachers.
Yeah.
Can't wait for all this stuff to come out with iPhones and caching and everything else, right?
Yep.
Some people do everything, like you and I. We do everything in the game. So I think this is one of those things, assuming it stays out and it doesn't flop, right?
Yep.
That it's a great addition to the game, and it's something new. Everybody always asks for new stuff. It's 25th anniversary. We're getting new stuff. We should all be happy about that part. If you don't like it, don't play it. Whatever. If you're like, oh, that's Pokemon thing, or that's a whatever, and then my first inclination for it was, this is kind of like badge gen.
Yes.
Mixed with HQ setting new challenges. And I totally get that, because challenges and they're the biggest pain in their rear end.
Right.
Oh, for years. We know that, right? We love challenges. We have a whole show devoted to challenges. I personally love challenges. I wrote a book on challenges. I love challenges. However, I also understand how it's a pain in the butt for them.
Sure.
So now they can kind of set challenges, because whatever you call it, the sets, whatever the requirements to get the new thing, that's a challenge. Go find X caches, go find this or that.
Yeah.
They can also give you a digital souvenir, but they can set those knowing that it's automatically done. It's not subjective, everything else. So it's a whole new realm of stuff for people to get into. I suspect if it's rolled out like we think it might be, like Brian says, and Brian says, I don't know yet, so don't quote me on anything, but this is what we think can happen. If it's rolled out like the potential that we've talked about already, it's going to be a whole thing all to itself. People are going to absolutely love it.
What's the interesting thing about it too, like you said, something that I think people we can clarify a couple things. One is on Challenge Talk, they asked him, because the Challenge Talk, and they were like, "Can we create a challenge around the treasures?" And he's like, "No, you're not, because in a sense, it's its own challenge, right?"
Yes. So this is what I want to talk about. So obviously, nobody doubts this. I want challenges to be used for everything.
Sure.
Right? Like, I still want Adventure Labs. I want to shove everything you can shove into challenge caches. Anything you can shove in challenge caches, I love it. Right? Within reason, I take it back, because I've also been very vocal about the fact that, like, changeable things should not be in challenges. Right? Like the name of a cache, there's a lot of things because people can change it, mess up your stats.
Those are fun though.
Well, they're fun, but they were stupid, and people could mess your stuff up by changing it. Okay. Anyway.
I understand. I know the reason why. Yeah.
I've thought about this as it goes.
Yeah.
So let's say that they set out, and now we know the first one is going to be an introductory one, right?
Yes.
Test, proof of concept. It's going to probably be like, find 10 of these and you get a souvenir. However, I'm pretty sure that whatever they do, like if they say the first one's find 10, you get a souvenir. Let's say the second one is find one cache of each type and you get another souvenir. That makes sense, because they're going to encourage new cachers, right?
Sure. Or treasure, you mean, not souvenir.
Treasure. Yes. You got to correct me. So here's the thing. I do believe that people will be able to, let's say they call that one the diversified cacher treasure.
Right.
What I see happening is cachers going, okay, I'm going to do the diversified treasure cacher challenge and just mirror whatever they're doing, because whatever they're doing is going to mimic real world challenges, right?
That's interesting.
So
yeah.
I think they're going to be able to mimic it, even though it's not tied into it. It will be tied into it, right?
It will
so you
be
can't say find 8 treasure get 8 treasure digital souvenirs, whatever we end up calling them, like, because we're going to have another name for them, obviously, because we're cachers. And then you get this challenge. No, that would be kind of lame anyway. That would be a cop out. But I think you can mirror whatever they do and still make a challenge out of it. So,
I agree.
It's going to work out perfectly for challenges.
No, I agree. I see what you're saying. Well, one thing also, I'm wondering. I got the impression, and you listened to a little bit more of the you listened to more minutes of the various podcasts.
I'm all over this stuff
than I did.
Yeah.
So my question that I'm wondering is, let's say you've got a set and you got like 10 in a set.
Uh-huh.
and you're up to 9, and the 10th one is not like you're talking about. It's just um it's a D5 T5.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, so I'm gonna have to go try to do a D5 T5.
And that one's out of your range if you
It's
can't
out
do
of
it.
my range
So
typically. Not
here's the
always,
thing, and
but
I think what I took from what Brian said. So let's
yeah,
say that when you're talking about, there's 10 of them, right? And
yeah,
let's say it's a fizzy style challenge where they want you to get a 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, 5-5. Let's just throw that out there, right?
sure,
It's called a DT treasure. They want you to get, 5 different ones: 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, 5-5. When it
right,
gets, you can get the first 4 of them. The 5
yeah,
5 one, you're like, that's beyond my means. I can't do it.
right,
I don't think that's going to matter because you got the first 4. You still keep
sure,
those treasures. You can't complete the set, and there may be even a bonus one at the end of the set. But I don't see that as any different than like bonus caches now. Sometimes you have 4 caches, you solve them all, go find them, and you get a coordinates to the bonus cache. Well, if you only get 3 of the 4, you don't get the bonus cache, or you don't get the 4th one. So I think, to me, if it's rolled out like I think Brian is alluding to, and I don't
yeah,
think he was being elusive, I think he was being safe, knowing what the applications are going to be. Because anytime they roll something out, he's told us this many times, he's been public about it. They think about 80% of what happens they can guess, and 20% they're like, we had no idea people were going to do that. That's
sure,
not what we thought. So I think they're really doing good to model geocaching, like the tropes of geocaching, right? Like, you find 4 of them, there's a bonus cache, you get another one. You find 4 of these, you complete the total set, right? Whatever the naming, the nomenclature ends up being, I think it falls right in line with geocaching.
sure,
Now, do they count as smileys? No, there's something totally separate, right?
yeah,
And now he alluded to some other stuff with trading them and everything else. I think that's such speculation that we can't get there yet. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I think the
That's something
basic,
that yeah,
yeah.
Bellamy mentioned. Eventually, there'll be an opportunity to give extra treasures to other cachers. It'd be interesting to see if, for example, back to our example, let's say I get the 1-1, the 1-1, the 2-2, the 3-3, the 4-4, and the 5-5 I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And if I solicit the community and I say, hey, does anybody have an extra of the 5-5, you know, sapphire gem or whatever?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I've got one, but I'm not going to trade it for you. You have to give me 2. I need 2 raccoons for the
Yeah.
sapphire. And it's like, oh, I got plenty of raccoons here.
So,
Here, I'll give
so
you 2
I
raccoons
think
for
you
the
can work that
sapphire.
out. But here's what I see happening.
Yeah,
So, and again, complete speculation, right? None
sure.
of this is from our conversation with HQ at all, right? We don't have any inside knowledge. We are
Right,
totally speculating of all this.
right.
Here's what I see happening. I think there's possibilities that they can make them team challenges.
Okay.
So you're finding them with other people. I think
Oh, interesting.
there's also an opportunity where you have a team challenge, and you can, like, let's say, and he kind of alluded to this a little bit, but he couldn't cover everything. So
Yeah.
let's say you and I and John put together a team.
Yep.
You are the puzzle master. I am the, I don't know, where I go guy, and John is
Sure.
the trail hiker.
Right.
Well, and because we put that team together, because there's a new promotion, not promotion, we don't say promotion because it's long term.
Yeah.
There's a new collection that you have to get a difficult puzzle, a long hike, and a hard where I go.
Yeah.
So you solve those 3 together, and as a team, then you get, like, you have set up a team ahead of time because they get established teams, like leaderboard type teams.
Yep.
And you solve all 3 of those, and you get a final souvenir, a final treasure out of it.
Okay.
The limits are
That's interesting.
kind of up to them because it's all digital. And he said
Yes.
that he kept mentioning the dials. Well, that's awesome because you could team up with people that you hadn't even met.
Yes.
And there's, do you remember those old caches where it was like, you do the multi where it's like one person in one country, and you
yeah.
have those were cool. They got really complicated over time because maintenance and
Yeah.
everything else, but they could now do that again where you're setting up partnerships with people around around the world.
Yeah, it would be interesting, I think. Yeah, I think there's some good potential. Again, like you said, since since it lives in the digital world,
Right.
then they can sort of be able to do some of that kind of thing, I think. So let's go back. Let's reset a moment. I want to go through, if we can,
Yeah. Go ahead.
since John's not here, I want to go through some of John's. I want to get your opinion on some of John's
Okay.
comments.
Yeah.
And again, this is not the last time we're going to talk about these, but this is our first time of going through them. So a couple of John's comments. He mentioned about pizza, whatever. Skipping all that. He likes the timing. March is a good time to do it.
Absolutely.
So he says, should I have some local caches that could help me in a pinch? This is an interesting thought. So the idea behind his comment is sort of like we've all heard people who are like, okay, a new Earth cache just came out. I am not going to go do it because I'm waiting for Earth Cache Day, and then I'm going to go get it, and then I get the souvenir. So
I say
um,
this, yes, and here's my answer to that question.
okay,
Once again, I say that, and I hate to use a narrative term for a literary term for it, but
you're fine.
the tropes of geocaching are
Yep.
still the same. If you're doing
Sure.
a streak, you always save something close to you.
Just
if you have
yep,
a souvenir campaign coming up, you always save something close to you.
right,
If when you were a new cacher, you didn't save ones close to you and you wish you did.
right.
That's what
Right.
happens. I think that same thing applies to everything. We don't know what's coming up yet. So one, I think, and kind of gets into John's points too, but one, yeah, you should always save ones close to you if you can.
Yeah,
Everybody has a different situation. You only have limited range or whatever. You find what you can. But if you have the ability, don't find the one next to your house, especially if you got a street coming up. Save that one till you have an emergency, right?
right.
If there's an Earth cache that just came out, you've done every other Earth cache within 50 miles, but Earth cache day is coming up. Don't
You
get that
save
one
it.
yet. That doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. The same thing I would say, I would encourage people right now, if you are thinking about hiding some caches, between now and March is a good time to hide them.
Yeah.
Saturate your area with new caches. Don't necessarily go get them all, but put out different kind of, because you don't know what's coming up.
Yeah.
And if you found everything in your area, you and the other people in your area should probably put out some new caches right now. Or if you got a bunch of old caches, it's time to recycle, archive, republish.
Oh yeah,
this is
that's
kind
always
of
great.
game board, because
No,
it's a
that's
brand new exciting thing coming out. It's
Yep.
time to do all those good habits and get them done now.
And I think one of the points that John had was you're going to start seeing, I think once this comes out, I
Mhm.
think you're going to start to see folks start to hide the good hiders, the good, that's always, thank goodness for the hiders out there, me,
Yeah, no doubt.
us included. But there might be a time where um people look at the game board and they'll be like, man, nobody has hidden a letterbox anywhere near me.
Mhm.
And uh, there's been discussions either on social media like, gee, I wish, just this is an example, so it's not true, but let's say, for example, Northeast Texas, doesn't have a letterbox. Oh, well, I'll step up and I'll go create a letterbox, a hybrid cache, so that with the possibility, and now this is where again we don't have the detail, but we could hide it, and then hopefully a treasure will be then placed upon it that'll help everybody out.
So hold on. Here we go. So now there's a whole new thing I haven't thought about before.
Yeah.
Oh, let's say that an area like Northeast Texas
Right.
is really low on, it's saturated with like LPCs,
Right.
but it's really low on higher terrain caches.
Okay.
Is there a possibility in the future that they could regionally target these souvenirs?
Oh, yeah.
The treasures that show up in Northeast Texas are on the ones that are higher terrain. But an area that has all high terrain, no low terrain, they could target those areas and say the ones that are showing up there are the low terrain ones.
Right.
So they could really adjust, take those dials and adjust. They're like, this state for some reason does not publish multi-caches. In this state, all the ones are going to show up on multi-caches. They could really help like distribute evenly. Let's say June is, and I know I don't want to hit on the same thing we've already been doing, but it's handicap accessible cache month.
Right.
So the only souvenirs are out there are on one terrain caches.
On one trains, yeah. Or handicap, yeah.
So they're like, and maybe they even say that if you hide at one terrain cache, you get a souvenir.
Right. Or treasure.
Treasure. It's new language that hadn't come out yet. Well, let's say they think, okay, people are going to put out trash. Here's what we're going to do. If you hide in one terrain cache that gets 10 favorite points, you get
a special treasure.
You get a special treasure.
Hider treasure.
I'm going to go off the rails a little bit on the mind.
Okay.
We're going to go into John's in a second. So now you think these treasures could be used to improve the game. What if they say, they tie it into favorite points for caches, or they say that's an FTF. The first person to find this cache gets that treasure.
Oh, they hate those though.
They hate FTFs. They could do it though. Okay, we'll take that away.
We love them. Yeah.
What if it's a lonely cache? After 180 days, boop, a treasure pops up, and somebody can go and check on that cache to get the 180-day souvenir. Treasure. Yes. So there's a lot of things they can do for the health of the cache, right? And the health of the game board.
Yeah.
Without always having to like come down and do negative things, they can add a positive thing to get people to get out and check on things.
We're going to call them raccoons for the show. If you want a raccoon, you need to go do this.
Yeah, a raccoon.
I want to get all the raccoons.
Target things that are positive for the community without always doing negative things to enforce, which we know they don't like to do, right?
Yeah.
But hider treasures. Come on now. It's we can get into a whole new thing with this.
Peachy's
Let's say they put a hider treasure out and it's like a certain quality, or they want more large caches. Right. So now you only get a hider treasure for this month if you put out a large cache. And let's say they set standards like, get a large cache, it gets 3 favorite points or something. You know what I mean? Like you're not just like throw one out that's crap. But there's a lot of possibilities they could do with these things to really play with this. Now, some people will like these and some people won't, right? Like they could easily do one to set some standards like, here's the new treasure set is get all DTs. It's a fizzy set. Yeah. Get one of each over the next whatever years.
Yawn.
You get the fizzy treasure.
Yawn.
There's a lot of things they can do. I think there's a lot of possibilities of this, right?
There is. I want to let me do a couple things from the chat room real quick.
Go ahead.
So Bell on the Moon says all the new caches that this could aspire is very cool.
Yes,
I agree fully with that. What was the Hodag mentions about it's basically Cache Odyssey. I mean,
okay, great. We want that.
Yeah, we love that
right now.
We want that anyway.
Inspire one terrain caches, do it.
Yeah.
Steal it, call it Cache Odyssey treasure, call it We Hate Geocache Talk treasure. I don't care. If you're accomplishing our mission, you can call it whatever you want.
Exactly. K Blast says if they ever do anything for FTFs, he's going to eat his hat. It's like, yeah, I think I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen.
That's a whole other show, but I don't care about FTFs at all. So
yeah. Oh, there was one.
I don't think
one
they do either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jim mentions one. He says there's and this is new. I don't know if you could. I assume apparently you could do this still. I don't know. I've never tried this, but
I believe it's still within the rules you can do.
Okay, so Jim says there's a new teamwork multi where someone needs to find the Northwest Ohio stage to get the coordinates to the Central Florida final, and another that is just the opposite, where you find it in Central Florida and then you go find the Northwest. Yeah. I thought that multi-caches couldn't be that far apart.
So
is it maybe
I don't know. We'll have to look into that. We'll have to look into that, right? I mean, that's a
Jim let us know. I would like to know what the cache type is. Go ahead.
So I mean, I think the opportunities for them to put out positive things for the community are great. Yeah. Hidecito, get people to attend. You get a souvenir, a treasure. There's a lot of things you could do. But I think we all right, let's go back to his before we get too far away.
Yeah.
Um
Tom says too. Yeah, I'll get back to John. So he goes, I own one that Tom's the only one between Texas and Camp, but I don't know if you can. I know he does, but I'm wondering if you could. And K Blast says it's 2 stages are allowed. So I don't. I assume that there's some very specific.
There are some specific rules about you have to be able to find
how
it
to
each
get
state.
that
The
done.
catcher has to be able to find it. There's 2 finals, but that's
Yeah.
we can get into that for a whole show.
All
I
right.
promise.
Let me wrap up, John, and then we can go over to your list.
Yeah.
So, some of the other things that John mentioned were he had some questions that we're not really going to be able to get to tonight, but he said, or he asked questions, and one of the questions he asks, we've answered some, or we've
talked about a lot
addressed some of them. Yeah. He does say things like, "Will the treasures collections be premium only?" I assume they'll be premium only. I mean,
so here's what I would say: if
Okay.
I was in charge, they would be premium only.
Yeah.
Past the first introductory one, that would get people hooked on it.
You get one, yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
However, knowing Brian and HQ, they run things the opposite of how I'd run, and I'm glad they do.
I know. Me too.
But
some things
they want things open to everybody.
Yeah.
So I think they'll do a limited amount open to people, but then maybe some of the more advanced ones they'll do that's premium only. And I think they'll have a division between the two, but they don't like to block people out of stuff.
Yeah.
So like introductory, that's safe for brand new cachers, right? Because they got to think about juveniles and everything else. But I think the more advanced ones will be premium only. So the answer is it'll be both.
He asked about, and this is 2 more, but one of them I want to leave to the end because I think this is really, you and I can cover this at the end of the show, which we're starting to get toward. But one of the ones he mentioned was, and I've got my opinion. I'll get your opinion, which is, will there be Adventure Lab treasures? My opinion is no. They're not going to be.
My opinion is 100% yes.
Bruh, that's cool. We're both.
Why? Okay, first of all,
you cannot get a raccoon in an Adventure Lab because
here's my reasoning for that.
Okay. Yeah.
One, they are big on promoting Adventure Labs. Big on it, right? We both agree on that.
Sure.
Why would they exclude them from this?
Well, I just think I'm looking at it more from a database perspective, from a back end perspective. I don't know if they can do. I wonder if they can cross the streams of those things.
Sure, they can. Does it count as a fine?
Sort of.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I think it absolutely will.
It doesn't show up. You can't complete a state with one.
It's not a geographic fine, but it is a fine. Fine count, streak, whatever else, it counts.
Sure.
Here's what I would love to see. So challenges right now, you can't do a challenge based on Adventure Labs as far as what are they called? The categories. I can't. Somebody in the chat room correct me, but what are the different categories called?
The categories in challenges?
No, Adventure Labs. Like it's
Adventure Labs.
I can't think of the name off the top of my head. But
you mean the theme? Like ones that like you could have a hiking one, or you could do a
yes. So, however, now I think they can do that. So they can make these based types. Okay, types.
Tim calls them types. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say you have these types. I think you could tie these in now because they're not attached to challenges, but they can now tie these collections into those types. Like, okay, one of every type. That's a collection. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things they could do with that.
Yeah, never cross the streams.
Never cross the streams until you need to.
Until you have to, right?
Yeah, they did at one
point.
When you I definitely think they can do that, and
Sumerian
all these visual things I think can tie into each other, and it's going to add a whole layer to the game. I really do. Optional layer. If you want to be the person that just goes out and finds traditionals only out in the woods that you have to navigate to with a map and compass, play the game for the next 100 years that way. You can. You can never touch a smartphone. You can, put your finger to the wind and try to find that cache, and that's perfectly okay. And you can find all you want, and nobody's going to stop you. But if you like the new digital stuff, that's another part of the game.
Tom's giving some good Texas wisdom out.
That's right. That's right.
That's good advice, Tom. You're gonna drink from the stream, do it upstream from the herd. That's very true. That's good advice for everyone, regardless of whether you're in the great state of Texas or wherever you are.
I think the big question is what John asked with his last question is, what does this imply about the future of geocaching?
That was my last question. And we're kind of at that point. So go ahead.
The crux of all this is they're looking to the future. They could easily come out now and say, here's a brand new cache type. It's another thing like we've already done, and it's X, Y, or Z. But this is the digital version of the future stuff. And I think they're combining both, and they're doing it based on current conventions. All this matches current conventions. Nobody. Most people are familiar with badge gen.
Well,
right? Most advanced cachers are familiar with that. Most advanced cachers are familiar with challenge caches. If you think about those two together, that doesn't really blow your mind. But this is really those two together with HQ putting them out. Many, many times we have asked for, there should be a standard challenge put out by HQ for Fizzy, for Jasmer, for all these other things. Like there should be some standard things that they just put out. You don't have to find a cache. You just get a souvenir for completing one of these classic standard things.
Okay.
They just created that.
366. Right. They just did with this.
Right. They can easily do that now. They can give you these standard treasures now for Jasmer, 365, all these different things that they never had the ability to do before, but now they can. We've been asking for that for years. Everybody has. We've talked about it a lot of times. There's certain things that are considered milestones in geocaching that now they can recognize easily.
Yeah, Jesse, I just don't know. So here, I don't want to be the wet blanket tonight, but
all right, go be the wet blanket.
But I'm going to be a couple things. One is, two things. One is that badge gen. I like to look at badge gen from time to time. To be honest, that's as far as I ever get with badge gen. Is just like, oh, I wonder what I got in badge gen now. I don't go, you know what? I need one more of XYZ to get the ruby.
Okay.
Oh, I need the
no. I gotta stop you there.
I gotta get the ruby. Oh, I
don't
care. I don't care about the ruby or the diamond or whatever it is in badge gen.
So I do. And here's what I'll tell you. There's a lot of people like me that I am constantly working to diamond out all of my badges.
I figured you were.
And I have a lot of diamond badges. Less than some, but more than a lot. And I will tell you, if it's a thing I can do, just remember like the black belt thing, you can get up to black belt and then it's black and yellow and all that. The black, it's associated with the badge gen thing.
Yeah.
Once you max that out, you're done.
I know.
Badge gen. Once you max those out, all you can do is make diamond out of all of them. I love those. I love them. I think it's great. It's a new challenge. However, now if I can, and this is no diss on badge gen because I love them.
Yes.
To me, that has a value here. Anything that HQ puts out has a value here.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
yes.
Let
me get to my second one real quick.
Other programs, but like pad tags, that's cool. But it's not an HQ thing, so I don't really care as much.
Exactly. Yeah. So my other part to that.
Yeah, go ahead. So I totally disagree with you. People will be running down the street to complete these things, but go ahead.
And this goes to that point, which is I'm starting to be more interested, or I'm starting to search. So when I'm going to go to typically it's when I'm going to pick a spot. I'm either going to, let's say, Bamarama or Motley Cash and Crew's going out. I am starting to hunt a little bit for challenge caches, because if I can think of them or if I can check them ahead of time, yes, I know I'm coming around on challenge caches, and
There's
this
a
is
book
something
you
that,
need to read. Let me put one of
yeah,
those
there's
up
probably a book out
there.
there that I need to read. Yeah.
It's by a really smart guy, but okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
have a copy down here myself
Um,
too. But so I guess my point though is, and this goes into treasures. Do I care that I have, you know, the blue, the white, and the red raccoon, but I need the gold raccoon? Do I want the gold raccoon? I don't know.
Here's what
Do
I'll
I
tell you:
need
you
the gold?
can't predict yet.
I know.
However,
Do
I
I
will tell
care?
you, as we've said before, I think this is going to be huge. But there is a let's the here's how much they don't matter to me. I can't think of the
Okay.
name right now. Waymarks. They
Waymarks.
mean
Oh yeah.
nothing to me. However, there's a whole app for them. And there's
Yeah.
people that do that's what they are. They're way markers, right? That's
Waymarkers.
what they are. More than our geocachers are way markers.
They're waymarkers.
When
Like benchmarkers. People
when
who did
benchmark
benchmarks.
was out, there were people
Yeah.
that were benchmarkers.
Oh, they
There will
were.
be people that are going to be whatever you call them, treasure hunters. That's what they're
Rac-
going to do. And I
Raccoon
think
hunters. The
if it
raccoon
comes
hunters.
out like we hope it's going to come out, and it's not like oh, this didn't work, we get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it sounds like they've been working on this for a long time, so it seems like they're going to do it.
Yeah.
If this comes out like it seems like it might be, I think this will be as popular as challenge caches.
Possibly. But
That's coming from a challenge cache guy, right? Like
possibly.
I am a challenge cache guy. It has the potential. Okay, it has the potential to be as popular as
Yeah.
challenge caches.
Okay. One of the final thoughts, and we got to start to wrap up. But
Okay.
okay. So one of the things that I think could muddle the game. Yeah, going from KC. Do we have the European or the African raccoon? See, you got to know. Yeah, this
But you don't know. You don't know yet.
This does have worldwide implications, but that's for another show. We don't have time tonight for worldwide. I mean, I appreciate all of our listeners all over the world, but and this really does appeal, or this discussion isn't US. This discussion really is the whole world. But I mean,
100%. Yeah.
yeah, but there is an aspect to the worldwide side of this that I think, like, is there going to be this rare, golden idol in Antarctica, and we all have to get on a boat and go get it because nobody's gotten it? I mean, are there going to be lost treasures that are sitting out in the middle of nowhere that nobody has ever gotten?
Yes.
Potentially, right?
Well, here's the thing: is there can be. They can create something like that to create buzz around something that's hard to get to.
Right.
And here's the thing: they can create things now. If this is how it sounds like when Brian's pushing it out there, let's say, is there a current souvenir or challenge? There's a challenge for it. There's a challenge. I think challenges and these are going to very much parallel, right?
Oh, it'd be interesting. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What if you get a collection of 3 country, 5 country treasures? That's a new treasure. What if you get 10? That's something that won't appeal to the brand new cacher, but it can be out there with no additional cost for the experienced cacher. What about counties?
As Tom said, retired guy will be even more popular because he's
yeah.
Because there's one in Fiji. Oh, he was just in Fiji. He could have gotten that.
But think about it. Think about challenge caches. I mean, county cachers.
County caching, yeah.
You could add a lot to county caching.
Yeah, you could. You could
like
you
every
could do,
10 county caches, different counties you add a new level to your collection. There's so many things you can do with this.
I'm not sure how that's and again, here's the other thing I appreciate. I go to Project GC like all the time.
Yes,
but I go there. For me, it's a tool. Unfortunately, it's like a hammer. When I need a hammer, I go grab a hammer. I use the hammer. And I throw it in the toolbox. I don't go back and. It's rare. Once in a while, I will take out the hammer and I will look through. I'll look at the handle real carefully and all that. That's what Project GC is. Once in a while, you and I both have done this where you're like, "Ooh, what is this?" And you go hunt. You go down the rabbit trail of Project GC. But if it's on my dashboard, and what I was going to mention earlier is I found on the dashboard. So on the dashboard, you've got on the left hand side on the new dashboard, which I don't like, but that's for another show. It's got my name and premium when I renew. It's got my link for view profile, and it's got statistics, souvenirs, leaderboard, and then my lists, your lists. I go to the statistics all the time. I go to souvenirs every now and then. I never open the leaderboard because I could care less. And then under there, it's got the list of my list, which I go to lists, and use them all the time.
It'll have one for treasures.
Right. That's where I think it's going to be put, right in that spot.
Well, not only that, I can see that it'll be there for what you've earned. Project GC will have another tab when you go into your statistics, right? Another tab for treasures, and we'll have listed all of the treasures possible and your progress for each one.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
That is going to drive list people, which we all are, like check things off a list. I got it. Bam, I got it. That's going to drive us wild going after these things. There's going to be people that are trying to get all of them, without a doubt.
Well, and Mike, thanks for being with us tonight. Mike F. He says, I care way more about badge gen than fizzies or jazzmers. And
that is a perfect example of how people pick and choose what they want to do.
Yeah.
That's what excites him.
And he admits it.
We've said it a million times, but that's what's so exciting about this game. Your daily activity may revolve around, I want to be the number one in my state for photos uploaded to geocaching.com. That may be your thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Longest word length for average word length for logs.
Don't get me started on those people. I'm so sick and tired of that.
Here's the thing. That's awesome. You own
it
that and be that guy or gal, whatever. You be that person because that brings you joy. Not everybody can find 200,000 caches. Although with labs, I love it, but that's a whole different story. I don't get into that.
Yeah.
But whatever you're into, be into that thing. And all they're doing is creating a thing that more people can be into, right? It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't take anything away from anybody.
Yeah.
You do it. If you never want to earn a single treasure, don't do it. Don't look at it. Look at the tab and go away from it. But I think it's going to really, they've showed this, so I'm in education.
Potential.
There's many studies that will show if you gamify anything, especially younger people, they will do whatever it takes to get to the next level.
Sure.
Right? So that's the same thing here. There will be a whole segment of people that are like, you're gamifying this big time now. I'm doing this, and I'll do whatever it takes to do this. Normally I would do this, but now I'm going to do this because it gets me the raccoon.
It gives me the golden raccoon
now because we're going to laugh. But, I got the golden raccoon. I'm going out this weekend, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, if you don't do it, don't do it. Just like challenges. If you don't do challenges, you don't have to.
Go do it.
If you just want to cache occasionally, or if you want to cache every day, you can cache however you want to. I think it's going to add value for many people. And there's going to be a segment of people are like, I don't care. Cool. Don't care about it. But I think it's going to be anything. I can't imagine a negative to it. I really can't.
I'm seeing, I'm more excited about now than I think now that the way you put it, that because we've both done, and there's plenty of cachers who have done what I would call, what some people would call a dumb thing, which is I drove 6 hours to get the golden raccoon. You're like, what else? That's it.
But we will both do that. There's no doubt. If we're into this, we're going to both do it because I have driven a long way to get an old cache that was no more special than a new cache.
Yeah.
And did it just for that cache.
Just for that. Yeah. Yeah. So again, we're wrapping up. Mike says gamify is key to continued engagement for older players and really locking in the new. I don't know about locking in the new, but I see where he's going with that.
I agree with him.
Yeah, I don't know about the new part, but it definitely locks in the old.
I mean, young, right? We need young people coming in, right?
Yeah.
young people are used to the digital world.
Yep.
You and I can be perfectly happy if all we had was a hike to an ammo can in the woods that's been signed since the year 2000. It's got the same logbook, and it's a metal ammo can. It's not even painted. We would still love that game, or bucket in the woods, right? Like the original can of beans and stuff. However,
bucket, so
younger people expect more flashy stuff, and that's okay. That's the world they grew up in. So I think you have to be able to accommodate all realms of it. And I think this is just on that other end. There's nothing stopping you from hiding a ammo can in the woods right now.
Sure.
But now that may draw some new people to it that wouldn't normally do it. So I don't see the negatives of this. The only negative I see, and I hate to be negative because you were the wet blanket in the beginning, I'll be it now. If they let this drop after the excitement they just put out, it will be extremely disappointing.
No, you're right. The other part is that, and we really have to get into tonight. We'll get into it some other night, but the idea that I personally drove 6 hours with my ladder, and I climbed a tree, and I got the golden raccoon, and then I went down the road another 6 hours because I heard there was one there, and I climbed a tree, and I got another golden raccoon, and I drove all the way home. Took a day and a half, and then some guy on a couch who's like, "Hey, I'll trade you a golden raccoon for something, that he got from somebody else." He didn't do anything. He's just in the commodity broker side of things, and it's like, okay, well, so it's like then he can go, "Oh, cool, I got the golden raccoon." You're like, "Well, but you didn't. You just bought it from somebody." So
if somebody called you right now without these things and said, "I'll give you $10,000 to sell me your account," I'm starting over tomorrow. I don't give a crap. You know what I mean?
That's true.
They can do that right now. Or
start with day one.
I've got 60 something earth caches out there. Every one of those is for sale. If somebody called me and said, "I'll give you $1,000 if you adopt out your whatever cache to me, your virtual
whatever earth cache you got out there,"
they're getting them. They're getting it. So, you can come up with all the weird conspiracy theories we want, but I don't see how this could add anything negative to the game. I think it's only going to be a positive if it comes out like it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want it to be a big splash. I don't want it to be like, that didn't work out. We all remember not challenge caches, but geocaching challenges.
Right.
I don't think they ever want to be involved in any project like that again. They want to be involved in stuff that's awesome. And this
that didn't make it.
Could be awesome.
It could be.
Could be.
I think it's got some potential. And the fact that it's digital, I think, gives a lot of latitude to their to the database side of things. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Good show. Next week we're gonna have Nancy on because we want to give people a person on the scene, person on the ground, as they say, who has experienced going after the one of the Cache Odyssey Geo Tours. What was it like? What did she experience? What are her, what's her advice on how to do these? Because it's very different. You're looking at it, one per state. How did she tackle it? So Nancy will be on next week. And then we've got Gadget Talk coming back. So, and then a lot of stuff that we can't spill, but just know that there's some really good stuff down the road that we are not allowed to talk about. So good stuff. So I guess last thought, and we'll wrap up.
So 2 things. One,
go for it.
When are we going to get to interview the person that has found all the Geo Tours?
Oh, yeah.
Don't answer that. Oh, but I'm going to be so excited. And 2, my final thoughts on this are, because I was skeptical when it first came out, right? Until I watched all the show stuff. Yeah. If it comes out and plays out like they want it to, and it's not kind of like just an average thing that comes out, like it didn't work out. Yeah. If it comes out and works like they have, I think it's going to be a great addition to the game, and it's going to be a whole new facet of the game. it has the potential to be a whole new facet of the game that's just as big as challenge caches or badge gen or anything else that people really go after.
Yeah.
If they do it as like he got us excited about, right? Like if they do it that way, I think it has the potential to be there.
Sure.
I'm not predicting that it's going to be. I'm saying because if it comes out anywhere like I think, I would rush out the door for that before many other things.
Interesting.
That's all I'm going to say for right now.
All right. Very good. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, sir. And thanks for everybody who was in the chat room tonight, giving us good information, and everybody who's watching, and then all of our listeners. We thank you so much. And we'll see. Like you said, we'll see. It seems far away, but it's not really that far away. It's a couple months.
Yeah, it's not that far away for something that could be potentially huge.
Potentially good. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
No, he said, now I will say that in March is going to be the introductory thing.
It's just starting.
Temper our expectations, knowing that it's going to be rolled out slowly, right?
Yeah.
And he's told us that. Like, we're going to see how this responds, then we're going to do the next thing.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like this. If by the end of this year, it's not going to change the whole game of geocaching, but it has the potential to move that way in the future. So I think this is a long-term project.
No, you're right. You're right. It'll be interesting. Like you said, just to get it started. And again, like you said, we're not going to judge it based on the start. I just want to see how it gets started. So
yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody. And we will see you Tuesday night for those that want to watch. So good night, everybody.
Good night.
May your finds be many and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.